The reason I said no to God, geez, we all know the stigma that's attached to mental ailments and disorders. I believe that we don't talk enough about it, and a lot of people are not educated about mental disorders, so that also plays a huge role in how people receive individuals like myself coming out and saying, hey, I've been diagnosed with depression, I've been diagnosed with clinical stress, I've been diagnosed with bipolar, I've been diagnosed with anxiety. The reality is that how does one act and react to that, especially if someone close to you tells you that. So that has been the biggest part of my resistance. But also, I didn't want to be known as Pruluv, the face of depression. I mean, this is my 8th year as a club DJ. I'm an entertainer. I've been on radio. I've won awards. I have so many achievements. That's my brand, That's my brand. Now, God asking me to talk about depression at the height of my career, at the height of my achievements. I was like, oh, hell no. I refused. No, I said no to God. I know we're not supposed to say no to God. I did. Yep, I confess. I've said no to God on so many things. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. So no. Another reason I think could be the main reason was that I was angry with God. Have you guys ever been angry with God? I think, we'll talk about that in a different video. I was angry with God. So, how could God ask this of me, to talk about my struggles, to talk about my pain in public? We're talking about the current social media climate, where people take pleasure in tearing each other apart. When God said, I need you to share your pain, your trauma, your trials. I think you guys now understand how difficult this has been for me to come out and talk about it. So, at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, I did my best. That was the first time I actually came out and mentioned that I was diagnosed with depression, stress, bipolar, and anxiety. It was tough. It was tough. Some people were beyond shocked. Others wanted to know more. And I think I really didn't feel ready. So that response shook me. I just couldn't take it. I couldn't take the messages, the inboxes. It was too much, and people were asking me too many questions. And I'm like, no. This is not what I wanted to. No. So I stopped in 2020. I'm like, no, this is not for me. No. And then God kept on telling me and speaking to me, saying that I needed to share. Because it is my purpose. Well, I think I know to a certain degree that, yes, talking about these mental ailments is part and parcel of my purpose. I've known that. It was actually in hospital when God told me that I would have to come to this point in my life. So I had asked God, when I was in hospital, I asked him, why me? By the way, this was my 3rd time in hospital. I had been in hospital 2 previous times. Jesus. Hey. We'll talk about that in another video. But I grew up healthy. That was the crazy thing. I was the healthiest person on earth, and then boom, I'm in hospital. By the way, the 2 previous times were for an appendix operation that went septic. And I think that's where the actual depression began. The clinical depression began there. We'll talk about that another time. But here I am now in hospital 2010, 3rd time in hospital. My poor parents. They couldn't understand. They couldn't understand. They were like, again, you're in hospital, can't do anything. What's happening? I too didn't understand. Again, God. And it was at that point that God told me that it's not about you. And I'm like, Jesus, Jehovah. What do you mean it's not about me? I am the one in hospital. I'm the one in pain. I'm the one that went through the trauma. So what do you mean? Tell me. Level with me. What you mean that it's not about me? So that's how the journey began. And that's why we are here today. This is all because God asked me to take this journey, and I'm trusting Him that what I share with you guys, at least one person would get the healing. And I am calling this series Pruluv Wellness. We are healing together. So stick with me. We're gonna do a whole lot of crying, but a whole lot of healing.